Hello, 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 and welcome to 20 Years with the Narcissist. I'm your host, Shakira, and I would like to start with words of affirmations. You are whole, you are complete, you are enough. You are strong, you are brave, you are resilient. You are guided, you are protected, and you are safe. And this here is a safe space. On this week's episode, we will continue with what manipulation isn't. We will pick up with number 4. Manipulation is not the same as positive influence. It can often be mistaken as such because both involve leveraging a person's emotions, such as a good coach, a mentor, teacher, or friend often uses influence. But there are 5 main differences regarding this. The intention, encouragement and persuasion, the intended result, the actual result, and who benefits. In order for behavior to be considered a positive influence, all 5 of these criteria have to benefit the other person. On the other hand, in order for behavior to be considered manipulative or problematic, only one of the criteria has to benefit the manipulator. Let's break these down a little further. Intention. With manipulation, the intention is for the manipulator to get their way or desired result. With influence, the intention is to encourage, not get, another to do something for their own benefit. When it comes to persuasion and encouragement, with manipulation, pressure is used to gain that control. The person on the receiver end doesn't have a choice or is unable to disagree without some kind of conflict or consequence. With influence, pressure is not used. Instead, persuasion is used to encourage the other person, and that person is able to decline or oblige without fear of being punished. The intended result, of course, with manipulation, everybody say it with me now, the goal is for them to get their way. Sounds like a broken record, doesn't it? But with influence, the goal is for the other person to do something in their best interest. You see the difference here? One person is doing it for their own gain, and another person is doing it for the other person's gain. The manipulator gets their way with pressure and control. As a result, tension and resentment start to grow, and the relationship feels unbalanced and emotionally unsafe. That is when you see erratic behavior, such as women busting out windows, slashing up the leather seats, bleaching their mates' clothes, throwing them out the window. And I've literally seen all of these things. I've never been that type to do it myself, but I've witnessed it because that's how tense and unbalanced the relationship gets. But with influence, the influencer isn't trying to get their way, but trying to encourage another. As a result, trust and connection grow, and the relationship feels strengthened and emotionally safe, as it would with a coach or a mentor or a significant other who isn't a manipulator. Who benefits? Of course, with manipulation, the manipulator benefits. With influence, the person being influenced benefits. Now, what happens when good intentions go left? They can unintentionally become manipulative, controlling, or problematic and result in a very negative outcome. For this reason, it is important to continually check in to make sure the actual result matches our intentions. This can be done by matching those 5 criteria listed above and phrasing them as questions. By periodically asking ourselves, especially for those who are like, am I a narcissist? They question whether or not they are or not. So think about it. Say, hold up. What is my intention here? Am I using persuasion and influence or pressure and control? What is the result after, and what is the result I'm getting? What am I trying to get, and what am I actually getting? Last but not least, who benefits from this result? Play out a scenario in your head. Think about when somebody called you a narcissist and see what applies. After asking these questions, you'll be able to see what adjustments need to be made in order to keep positive intentions and influence in alignment with positive results. Now, if you sit in here and listen to this and you like, I ain't doing none of that. If you have no need, want, or desire to do this, then it's very likely that you are a narcissist. Plain and simple as that. Now, of course, I am not a psychiatrist, so I'd advise you to go seek the professional help to get a proper diagnosis. Don't take my word for it. Go talk to the professionals and see what they say about it. Good luck. Number 5, manipulation is not karma, bad luck, something you attracted. When we are continually on the receiver end of manipulation and feel powerless at stopping it, we try to figure out why we are such catalysts for this kind of treatment. Like, why me? What did I do? It gotta be me because I'm common denominator, right? We will sit and try to figure out why we keep attracting problematic people. We may start to believe that it's some kind of karma. Or that we're being punished by God. God, why me? Why do? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You know what I'm saying? Within the search for answers, many people, such as myself, end up coming across the law of attraction, which is the belief that like energy attracts like energy. And since everything in the universe is made up of energy, including us, we are somehow able to control or manipulate what we are somehow able to control what we attract by changing our energy. We think good energy attracts good things and bad energy attracts bad things. This simply is not always the case, right? Sometimes bad things happen to good people and vice versa. So while the law of attraction seems to work at times, it doesn't mean that it's the end all be all. Now, we think that we can influence events outside of our control, and you're engaging in what's called magical thinking. According to Dana Morningstar, who's the author of A Narcissist Playbook, where I got all of this information on this episode and previous episodes as well. Now, me personally, I do believe in the law of attraction, but some things are simply out of our control. But the reason it's considered magical thinking is because our actions aren't matching the outcome, even though on the surface it can appear to be. What I mean is, what's commonly seen is a person is scared or tired of attracting hurtful people, and because there are things happening that they are unaware of, such as not knowing when they're being mistreated, how their vulnerabilities are being exploited. You sit there and tell somebody that you dating everything there is to know about you, and there's ammunition that they're using to hurt you with, or when they're being manipulated. It can feel like there are outside forces at play. They attempt to manifest and try to attract good people in their life. So inevitably, some charming, attractive, seemingly like-minded person shows up, and in their mind, they think that they attracted this person. Like the last couple I dated, where the woman said that the next person she met is going to be her soulmate, sent from God himself. Neither of those may be her exact words, but it was something along those lines, right? And of course, the man that came along was indeed charming and attractive and a gentleman. But underneath it all, he's one of the biggest manipulators I've met thus far. Or since my ex, my original narc, if you will, because that one takes the cake. So since the belief is energy, good energy anyway, attracts good energy, they will not have a healthy level of discernment or boundaries. They're not gonna care. They're not gonna feel like they need to. They won't think or want to even engage in thinking in that direction. And they'll let their guard down, thinking that their prayer was answered or the law of attraction worked. Because boom, here they are in the flesh. There go my boo thing. So when red flags start to surface, they quick to justify them. Oh, no. Dismiss them away. because they don't want to doubt or have negative thoughts to lower or distort their energy. The result of this is a relationship going from a romantic whirlwind to an emotionally devastating tornado. Once they realize their seemingly perfect partner isn't who they thought they were at all. And I think that be like the worst part. The mask comes down, you see this other version of them, and you like, who are you? Now, me personally, going through this cycle over and over with the same person in a different body is exhausting, y'all. I'm tired. Talk about being tired. I am truly tired of going through it. The options become going backwards to somebody I know, that I feel safe with, that takes care of most of my needs. I left them for a reason. You know, even though I know that this engagement will not result in what I truly want, which is a healthy relationship with longevity. I want to be in love, y'all. I want to make love with somebody who sees and loves me unconditionally. And I'm sure most of y'all want the same thing, right? Therefore, we have to keep our guard up. We have to have discernment. We have to set boundaries and stand on them. Okay, and take heed to all the red flags in order to prevent repeating this cycle. We gotta let it go. We gotta stop it, right? If I go back in my story, you know, dealing with my original narc for 20 years, I didn't know what I was going through. I was totally in the dark. So when I came out of that relationship, I looked into it. And I gained more knowledge about it. And it was like a aha moment, like, oh, so that's what's wrong with him. He a narc, you know what I'm saying? Because I typed something in the search bar and that's what popped up. Narcissist and what, that's what popped up. And I was like, OMG, I'm reading about it. And when I tell y'all he was checking off all the boxes, like, oh my God. So, and on one hand, it was like, yes, I have an idea. I know what I'm dealing with now, right? It's like, okay, thank you. I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't true because I felt like this man loves me. Like, nobody could convince me that this man didn't love me. There's love here. We 20 years, 5 kids, there's love here. But something is awry. Something is not quite right. What kind of love is this? Is this sincere, genuine love? Or is this some type of, you know, alternative type of love that I don't like or want, if I'm being honest. I don't like it. I don't want it. I know I love him unconditionally. Would just jump over the moon for the man. And, you know, I've had like instances throughout our relationship where he would, you know, get drunk. You know, they say a drunk mind speaks a sober tongue. And he would, you know, be like, girl, I love you. I would kill for you. Da, 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 da. He would say stuff like that. And I don't know if he was in his right state of mind or was aware enough to know what exactly what he was saying. And it was all a part of the manipulation. Or if that drunk mind was speaking a sober tongue to say, dang, like, you are the one. You are somebody that I truly love. And I would to the extent that I would kill for. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, at that time, hearing it, it was enough. It made me feel wanted. It made me feel loved. And I accepted it. But it's such a distorted version of love that you just have to have that discernment to be able to decipher whether or not this is something good or healthy for your being. Because for me, it was not. You know what I'm saying? So, on the other hand, it was like a dagger to my heart. Like, oh my God, I don't think he ever really loved me. The whole relationship was really all about him and what he wanted and how he wanted it. And the second that I was not living within his set boundaries in his mind, I was put on the shelf until I was eventually discarded. 20 years, 5 kids, and you know, dismantle the relationship, the marriage, you just be done with it and do away with it. Just like that. Where was the love at? How can you honestly and wholeheartedly say that was love when it was nothing for you to throw us away like trash? There's no way. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I gained information and knowledge about narcissism, but I didn't dive deep and I didn't learn as much as I know now. So I had to go through some more narcissistic relationships to get to where I am. And then once I received it, I was like, okay, now I have to deliver this to the masses. I gotta put everybody on game, even though it's other people, other podcasters, the psychologists who have degrees and licenses, to back up their knowledge and everything like that. So I just went to them. I just went to, y'all all got degrees, y'all went to school, you well versed because you actually went through narcissistic relationships. So you got the experience, the knowledge, the schooling, all the things to back you up. You're a trusted source. I'm going to get some information from you. You're a trusted source. You got a book, bestseller. I'm going to get some information from you. So I went and read their books. I listen to their podcasts on a daily basis, and I soak it up and I absorb it like a sponge. I write it down, and then I deliver it to you. I look different from them. It's a group of us who look like me, and to receive this type of information from somebody who looks like them it's easier to receive it and say, oh, okay, wow, you went through this, wow. But let's be clear. Dr. Romney got millions of followers. People are desperate to find out and understand why their relationships are not working. What the heck is going on? Why won't this man or woman love me the way that I love them? What do I have to do to get through to them? How can I love them harder or better so that they can reciprocate that when it'll never happen? It's like a hamster running in a hamster wheel, and you just running in circles and getting nowhere fast. You ain't getting nowhere. That's how it is dating a narcissist. You're not getting nowhere, especially when you don't know or understand what the heck you going through. So you got people like, me, who's going to learn about it and share the wealth of knowledge. Okay? I don't want y'all to suffer. I don't want y'all to go through what I went through. If you already going through it, I want you to understand what you're going through. If you in it and you want to get out, I want you to learn how to get out. I want you to learn how to get out. I need y'all to keep watching. I'm going to have episodes on gray rocking, yellow rocking. When you're in a relationship, what the gray rock and the yellow rock means. And that's how if you have to stay in the relationship, because not everybody can get out. Not everybody's able to get out. So let me help you, learn how to navigate through it while you're in it. Still won't be it's still not a healthy thing to go through, if I'm being quite honest. But when you're equipped with knowledge to be able to handle a situation, you handle it a lot better. It takes less of a toll on you. So it's still better at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So continuing with my story of dealing with the narc for 20 years, coming out, okay, I know a little thing or two about a thing or two, falling in love with another narcissist who was on the other end of the spectrum, who was actually loving, affectionate and all the things, but still underneath trauma, unhealed, don't know how to commit, trust issues, and I couldn't do nothing with him either. So then fast forward to me, thinking that it would be better if I was a third in an already stable relationship, when neither of the two relationships that I entered into were stable. The foundation was rocky. It was never. Why? Because both of the males in those relationships were narcissists as well. Or at least they checked off those same boxes and they fit the same mold that my original narc and the second narc fit. So you, of course, like in earlier in this episode, you ask yourself, is it me? Like, is my energy attracting y'all? Am I calling you to me? Am I saying, universe, God, this is what I want? Keep sending me more? No, I don't want y'all. Gon' get, okay? I don't want you. So I believe God will make you go through the same experience over and over again until you get the lesson. And I'm praying that I'm finally there. I'm praying that the lesson is finally learned and I can move forward in my life without going through more of the same. That's where I am. This podcast is not only for y'all, but it's for me as well. Not only is it keeping me on my toes about, what a manipulator looks like, and all the things that comes underneath of that umbrella of narcissism and manipulation, but to finally get the lesson that God is trying to teach me, to be whole. And that's why I start my podcast off with affirmations, because most of us that are in these narcissistic relationships don't think that we are enough. We don't think that we're whole and complete without this other individual. You don't need them. For me, I thought it was a need. After I divorced the first narc, it was like a void that I felt like I had to fill immediately. I was doing, like, being Muslim, I was on sit down after sit down after sit down, trying to replace him because I needed somebody in that spot. For 20 years, I was so used to having this person in this spot. So to not have anybody there, I felt exposed. I felt, unsafe. I felt uncared for, unloved, lonely. It just wasn't a good feeling there. But I had to fall in love with myself. I had to fall in love with Shakira. I had to go within to find out who I am without this person or any other person. What do you want out of this thing called life? Why are you here? What is your purpose here on this earth? What do you think you're meant to do? Because we all have a purpose. We all come in either with a set of skills, or we acquire skills that naturally, we have a knack for. That we just naturally good at it. Like, dang, you do that well. You know what I mean? Go find out what that is and put your time and energy into that. Live within, the purpose of why you were sent here. And sometimes it's more than one. Let's be clear. You could be good at many things, but pick the one that feels the best, that feels the most comfortable, that challenges you the most, that you're going to elevate and grow with and have longevity with, just like a relationship. And give it your all while serving God in the same breath. Because I just believe without God, you're not gonna make it on this earth. You're not gonna make it without Him, without God. You just, and that's just my personal belief. That's my opinion. That's what I think. Because the further you get away from the Creator, that divine light, that divine energy that created you, that lives within you. When He said He made you in His like image, that was literal. There is that your soul is made out of His divinity, His divine light. The more you get away from it, you lose that, and you're not in touch with it. It's almost like going out into the wilderness with no shelter. And you just got to fend for yourself, and you don't have the proper attire on out there. You don't have the armor to deal with all the things that life is just swinging at you, and you trying to duck. You better go get that cloak from God. You better go get that armor and get covered and let Him cover you. What? It is necessary. Start with connecting with God in whatever aspect that you see it in. I done been through all the religions, y'all. I was Baptist, Christian. I done got baptized several times. I took my Shahada. I was with the Jehovah's Witnesses. I was over at the African churches. I didn't even understand what they were talking about. St. Lutheran and them. All of it. I said, God, I need you. I don't know what the best way to serve you as. Help me, guide me, show me, come get me. And I landed over here and, this spiritual side of things where it's the universe. And I'm talking to my son who is, doing Bible study every week. I mean, he's so engrossed in the Bible and Jesus and God and everything that it entails. And he's like, well, look at the universe as Jesus. That's how we see Jesus. Jesus is the one that is providing, the one who died for our sins, where we are able to sin and ask for forgiveness and be forgiven. For me, if I'm going through something, instead of holding it, I give it back to the universe. I give it back. I put it back. Here, you take that. I'm not holding on to none of that. You got that. Because I'm on a path where I believe we were sent here to experience life. religion feels like a box, like I'm put into a box and I have to walk this way, I have to move this way, I have to think this way, or I'm going to the hellfire and I'm gonna burn for all eternity. And I just can't get jiggy with that. So, we was just having a conversation the other day. So I'm like, listen, if I'm supposed to swing back around to the Bible and, believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and that's the only way for me to be saved and to live a great, magnificent life here on this earth, or when I die, I go back to the Creator instead of, to some negative void in space or wherever that would be, wherever the hell would be, then God, work on me, God. Keep working on me. My heart is open. I am ready to receive, but I'm going to keep talking to God. I'm going to keep praying to God. I'm going to keep being thankful to God for all of the many blessings that He bestows upon me. This was more knowledge that I gained that got me to this space. It's like I know too much to go backwards to the Bible, which I will quote the Quran. I will quote the Bible because the scripture that was written there is not false scripture. It's not like what was written is not what didn't go down in history. These are things that occurred. These people went through what they went through, and it's like, well, look what they went through, and look how they were brought out. Look how things transpired in their lives. Look how he was a killer, and now he's blessed. So you can change, and so it gives great lessons within these books and within these scriptures that help guide you on a righteous path. So I'm not opposed to reading them. I'm not opposed to abiding by them or taking heed to them or living my life around it in some way, shape, or form. But I don't know, y'all. I'm a work in progress. I am not perfect by any means. But the more knowledge that I gain, I'm going to deliver it to the masses. That's what I'm going to do. That's just where I'm at with it. So I hope that everyone who made it to this part of this episode gained some type of value. And I hope that you come back. Tell a friend and tell another friend, hey, she got a podcast about narcissists. And I think I might be one. Or I think my man is one. You know how many people hit me up and say that, yo, cuz, I think the guy I'm dealing with is a narc. Yo, sis, I think I might be one. Yo, Kara, wow. People telling me, you should have been did this. We needed this years ago. Who you telling? But ain't we in the era of breaking generational cycles and curses? Ain't that where we at with it? Yeah, so this is one of them. We gonna break these fools out of their negative, bad habits. If we all get armored up with knowledge and not allow these manipulators to penetrate us, who they gonna be penetrating? They gonna be sitting there lonely. You're gonna have no other choice but to go deal with your unhealed trauma if you want a mate, because ain't nobody gonna mate with you, because we all gonna be up on game and know what you look like and know that we not dealing with your fool behind. But according to Dr. Romedy, that's gonna take generations. It ain't happening tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, the next 5 years, 10 years. I probably won't even be here when it happened. Listen, I'll be 40 this year. Who knows? It would be such a blessing to see if it did occur. I'm going to be honest, but I ain't going to hold my breath. But in the meantime, we got to start somewhere. We got to start somewhere. So here I am. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, remember that you are guided, you are protected, and you are safe.